Welcome back to the wild interior of British Columbia. We're in the midst of a 2-week adventure on a mission to get ourselves and our 4-wheel drive vehicles out to the west coast.
Worst case scenario is you fall through the wood.
We are now 5 days into this epic adventure, having faced some of BC's most rugged and remote terrain.
We're getting close. I'm looking forward to lunch though.
This Canadian province offers some of the most wild off-tap adventure, and we're diving headfirst.
Something magical about taking your own vehicle to the top of a mountain you put your heart and soul into, and it takes you to places like this. It's just magical.
We've just found ourselves one of the best camp spots in the Shuswap region and are planning on spending the next couple days here before making our way further west.
This is it, all-time best spot.
Settle in and make yourselves comfortable because you won't want to miss what's next. All Terrain Trails is proudly associated with 4-wheel freedom. Your adventure begins here. Now on the banks of the massive Shuswap Lake, we aim to find level spots to park the vehicles. Mike takes a different approach, wanting to get his tent as close to the water as possible. This has surely got to be one of our most scenic camp spots of all time. When you're on an extended trip like this one, it's common to be packing up and moving every day in order to pack in all the mileage. This spot, however, has made us want to stop and slow down, so we decide to spend an extra day tomorrow to relax and regroup. Tonight, we enjoy each other's company, a hearty meal, and a warm fire on the pebble beach before drifting off to the sounds of water lapping up against the shore. We're up early with the sun the next morning, eager for the day ahead to spend some time away from the vehicles, exploring our surroundings on foot. Just a few hundred meters from camp, I come upon a large cliff system looming above the choppy waters of the lake. From my guess, the cliffs appear to range anywhere from about 10 feet to 60 feet in height, giving anyone who dares to jump at least a little bit of variety. When it comes to cliff jumping, I've always been a big fan, and these seem like the perfect ones for a good jump. This activity is not for the faint of heart, but when you shed the fear of jumping off a perfectly good rock, you're rewarded with a great adrenaline rush and the uncomparable sensation of feeling alive.
Okay.
The next morning, it's hard to say goodbye to this magnificent place, but time is like an unstoppable river, always passing and flowing to the next destination. Before we can think twice, the trucks are packed and we're back on the road west. Kelowna is the next town on our list, another one of our favorites. This town is famous for its vineyards, orchards, good weather, and glorious mountain ranges. It's perched in a perfect spot along the shores of the Okanagan, and we're excited to experience some of its camping and 4-wheel drive trails. As I go through and edit this footage months later, I'm saddened to realize that this place was completely lost to the massive Kelowna wildfire just 2 months after we were here. It goes to show that things can change in an instant, and that we should never take these places for granted. I am hopeful, though, that this place makes a full recovery over the coming years, for people to come and enjoy once again. If you want to go see the world, there's no better time than now, because you never know what can happen.
Guys, we found another wild trail here tonight up above Kelowna. I don't know if you can see it way down there. Kelowna's like right behind me, directly right there. We're just in the hills above it. Just spectacular. Oh, does it get better than this? Hey, does it get better than this?
I mean, tomorrow it might. So far,
Tomorrow it might get better than this. We have a pretty good track record going.
go straight, keep it straight the whole way. Now turn to the right. Yeah, to the right, to the right, to the right. That was inevitable, but that wasn't bad. Hitch. Yeah, hitch, that was it.
All right, guys, we're just at the cell tower here. I think it's a cell tower. Maybe it's a weather station or a cell tower or something. I'm not sure what that is, but we made it to the top here. And just when we thought we were at the top, there's another one right there, right up there. So we're gonna enjoy the view here for a second and then climb a little higher and see what that one's all about.
It's good to remember that where there's a cell tower or weather station, there's a trail. Sometimes, if you're lucky, that trail is open to the public, and you can drive to the top for some spectacular views.
You can look pretty much, like Mike was saying, all the way down the Okanagan that way, and then flip around and you can look all the way down the Okanagan that way. It's just crazy how big this place is. If this isn't a good enough reason to own a four-wheel drive vehicle, I don't know what is. Just lost for words. I'm so happy that places like this exist in Canada. I'm so happy that we get to come in and enjoy it and experience something like this, because it's something magical about taking your own vehicle to the top of a mountain that you put your heart and soul into, and it takes you to places like this. It's just magical. So that's all I have to say.
We stay at the top of this place for as long as we can, but soon enough the sun starts to set and we have to drag ourselves away to find camp for the night and settle in.
Just getting camp set up here. Another spectacular view. I just can't get over this place. I'm gonna cook up some pasta tonight with bolognese sauce and a few vegetables, and we're gonna call it a night because tomorrow we're making our way to the coast. Looking forward to it. Let's take a little taste test here, ready? Not bad. I can make pasta.
We roll out of camp early the next morning, eager to make miles to the coast. But before that can happen, we need to tackle a few off-camber obstacles in order to get back on the highway.
There you go. That's the worst of it. You're good.
Hey everyone, we are on the Coquihalla Highway right now, making our way into Vancouver. It's been a fantastic BC trip here. We got some fun planned in Vancouver tomorrow. Really excited to get off of this Coquihalla Highway because, like Corblon says, it's soft shoulders and dangerous curves, if you know that song. So, making our way slowly but surely. Made it to camp. We did not actually make it to the coast today. We're camped right north of Abbotsford. Didn't make it to Vancouver or the coast today because, as you can imagine, there's actually not a lot of camping in Vancouver. And the closer you get to Vancouver, the less and less and less wild camping there is. This was one of the last spots that we were able to kind of find, like down a Forest Service road. And like I said, it's just right outside of Abbotsford. So we are here for the night, going to be at the coast tomorrow morning early to catch a flight. We're hopping on a float plane and we're going to fly out to Maple Bay, right? Maple Bay on Vancouver Island. We're going to go bum around there for the afternoon, hop on a flight back to Vancouver, and then start making our way back east. So that's kind of what the next 24-ish hours is going to look like. But we're just on this dirt road pull out here up a service road and enjoying our campfire for the night. So we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Morning, everyone. We had another great night at camp here. Super relaxing atmosphere in this dense forest area here. It kind of feels a bit like a rainforest almost in a way, just because of how humid it is and how green everything is. Anyway, we're getting packed up. It's just before 6:30 in the morning because we have a flight to catch down at the Vancouver harbor. We're hopping on a little puddle jumper, so let's get after it. Let's do it. We got a bit of a drive ahead of us.
Our original plan was to take a seaplane from Vancouver to Maple Bay. What we didn't account for, though, was the heavy traffic between Abbotsford and Vancouver, causing us to miss our flight. Thankfully, I was able to call ahead, and Harbour Air was able to change our flight for a later time, going to Nanaimo instead. I have learned over the years, through experience and a lot of disappointment, that changes in schedule happen all the time while traveling. For the best outcome, it's best to be open to change.
Ready to get on this float plane here, off to Nanaimo.
Today we get to experience the rugged DHC-3 Turbo Otter, a single-engine, propeller-driven aircraft produced from 1951 to 1967 by de Havilland in Canada. Harbour Air also uses the famous workhorse of an aircraft, the DHC-2 Beaver, and the Twin Otter, and not to forget the Cessna Grand Caravan. It's Mike's first time on a float plane, and he's mentioned a few times about being a little nervous for the flight. I'll ask him again when it's over to see how he feels. Would you take one of these tiny planes that takes off and lands on water?
This is the farthest west we're going to be traveling on this trip. From here, it's all east. So Nanaimo is our farthest spot on the trip. It's fantastic to be here. We just touched the Pacific. Let's start going back east. I did it! That's the Pacific right there. Hey everyone. Haven't chatted in a while since we got off the float plane yesterday, but we left Vancouver this morning. We're headed east back towards Calgary, and just kind of making our way back. And along the way, we were driving through Princeton. So I thought, hey, what the heck? Why not stop and check out the Whipsaw Trail? So we're not going to do the whole Whipsaw, but we're going to go up at a few kilometers, check out some old mining ruins and some of the old buildings along the trail, and maybe do a few obstacles. So it's a good little stop on the way back to Calgary, headed east.
The Whipsaw Trail is one of British Columbia's most well-known off-road trails. It boasts over 100 kilometers of challenging four-wheel driving, historical sites of mining ruins, and outstanding views of pristine wilderness. We've done the whole trail a few years back that took us about 2.5 days to complete, going slow. This time, we're only doing the first section of the trail due to time constraints. Nevertheless, if you're in the area, the Whipsaw Trail is a ton of fun.
All right, guys, we just made the mosquitoes are terrible right now. We just made a stop off here at Dick's Cabin. It's one of the good stops to make if you're out here. It's kind of an interesting little cabin. And I found my sticker. We did the Whipsaw a few years ago. I found my sticker from our 2020 trip.
Oh, let's just camp here. This is perfect. You know what I'm waiting for, to be honest with you?
Huh.
Bats.
Bats?
Yeah, bats. Not really much else but bats.
Set adrift with featherweight like bones, unaware of where my heart would flow. I was waiting in the undertow. Can't touch the bottom. Sit into a tumble. Waves that shake me out of my skin. Never been so easy. Losing my direction.
Okay, this concludes our time on the Whipsaw. It was a really short stint. Nothing crazy. We pretty much made it out to Dick's Cabin. Went a little farther than Dick's Cabin. Now we got to turn around and find camp because sun's setting, it's getting dark, and we got a long drive ahead of us tomorrow, all the way back to Radium. Headed far east tomorrow, eastern BC, out to Radium, and there's another cool little trail that we're going to do tomorrow. Lots of elevation. We will see you guys in the morning. All right, so we are about to attempt a trail that has kicked my butt 2 times in the past. One time I blew a wheel bearing on the service road coming in, had to get a tow home from this exact same spot here. And then the other time I made it to the trail. On the way up, I overheated the 4Runner. So we had to turn around, didn't make it up the whole way. So today we are going to attempt round 3 of this trail, and hopefully we will come out victorious. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm in the Tacoma this time, and Mike is in the Jeep, so let's get after it.
The trail we're on will be taking us up steep, shaly climbs to elevations of nearly 2,500 meters. At that elevation, we'll be nearing the edge of the tree line and are expecting to encounter an ancient glacier. This could possibly be one of the most scenic drives you can do in all of Canada.
We're getting our first couple views of this spectacular glacier behind me here. We actually don't have much more to go. We have probably a bit of a climb at the end, and then we will be able to get pretty close. I think it's to that glacier or possibly that one. I think it might all be the same one, actually. You know, I'm not exactly sure, but we're getting close. I'm looking forward to lunch, though. Amazing view.
Before pushing up the last steepest part of this shelf road, we're faced with a challenging mental obstacle. I say that because this old rickety bridge doesn't require much technical driving, but the mental challenge of deciding whether or not to cross it.
Worst case scenario is you fall through the wood, but there's still steel structure underneath. So like, realistically, like, yeah, you're stuck, but you're not dead. So I'm not worried about it.
Wow. Well, we made it to the top here. I could get a little emotional right now just because of how long I've wanted to come up here for and how long I haven't been able to come up here because of breakdowns for years. I've been trying, once a year for the past couple years to get up here. So it's been 3 years now of wanting to come do something like this, and now here it is. We made it to the top. I'm gonna go touch the hut. We gotta go touch the hut and see if we can go inside. It's cool in here. There's lots of old messages and writing on the wall and things people have left behind, and some survival items like a first aid kit and a giant iron stove and Coleman stove and couple other bits and bobs, but we're just taking some time to really check this place out. It's quite incredible, and I'm very surprised at how this all came to be. I don't know who would bring all this built. It's just so cool. I'm sad I can't put the drone up here for you because I crashed it the other day in Shuswap. I flew it into a tree of all things, trying to get a shot when we were over in Shuswap a few days ago. So no drone footage this time for the last couple days, but you know what? It's spectacular either way.
This concludes our wild and remote trans-British Columbia adventure. If you enjoy our videos, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We also now have stickers in our online store, so check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next adventure.